Ruram is seasoned professional with immense expertise in the senior care and health sectors. Previously, Runam held key leadership position at Porsche and HealthCube, where she played a critical role in business transformation, leveraging her deep understanding of the healthcare industry to deliver impactful outcomes. Runam Nee heads business and growth at Merzi with a mission to help millions in India choose active aging. Merzi's vision to increase health span and reduce the process of aging is one of the Runam will actually encapsulate today with the principles of blue zone living. And who better to talk about blue zone living in Runam itself? I would like to introduce Runam Mehta ji for today's event. Hi. Hi, Runam. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for your kind introduction.
So I would request everyone, if you have any of the queries, you can just put it in the chat box, and she will be presenting a PPT. And after that, we will like to question answer all your queries. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Just give me a moment while I share my screen. Great. So, thank you everyone for joining us on a bright Sunday afternoon. Today, we are here to learn about Blue Zone living, what it is, why it exists, and most importantly, how we can bring it closer to ourselves. Before we start, let's take a moment to reflect. What do we think is the average life expectancy in India? Just answer whatever instinctively comes to you in the chat box. No Google, please. Let's have some responses. I see your question, JP. We will be talking about what Blue Zone living is. I'll just get to it in a minute. Eh, Right. So I see some people have said that the life expectancy in India is 78 to 85. Are there any others who'd like to venture a guess? Well, as per the latest data by WHO in 2021, the life expectancy in India is only 67.3. It's a little higher for women, almost 70, closer to 69.5. But for men, it's actually about 65 years only. Shocking, isn't it? I was surprised to see this too. I also thought that the life expectancy in our country is closer to 75 or even 80, but that appears not to be the case.
Ronam, so sorry. I think we'll just have to give a minute for the screen to load. I don't
Oh,
think
is
the
it?
presentation is visible on everybody's screen. Yeah,
No, it's not. It's still rolling out.
yeah. Maybe you could just reload it once.
I'll do that. Thank you. Is it up now?
Yep, we can see
Yep,
now.
yep,
Awesome. And you're seeing the life expectancy on your screen at this point in time, right?
yep. We can.
Great. All right. So, continuing, let me talk to you about a few outstanding achievers. And feel free to keep putting your comments in the box. We will be addressing everything that you have on your mind at a later point during this presentation. Let's see what makes these people truly unique. Here we have Mr. Wang Dashin. He's 80. When you see this image, at least I couldn't, for the life of me, have guessed that he's 80 and he still walks the catwalk in high profile fashion shows. His nickname is Hottest Grandpa, and I believe he's actually a great grandfather while walking these fashion shows. Then we have Harriet Thompson. At 91, she became the oldest woman to compete the Suja Rock and Roll Santiago Marathon. And she finished the marathon in 7 hours, 7 minutes, and 42 seconds. Look at the youth and the joy on her face. Joanna, at age of 98, I kid you not, in 2024 she was 98, which means in 25 she's 99 years old, and she's the world's oldest active gymnast. I mean, astounding achievements. Margaret Ford, at 94, became Britain's oldest debutante novelist, publishing her first book. And this book was based on 630 letters exchanged between her and her late husband. Mr. Paterno, at 97, graduated at the top of his class from the University of Palmero, proving that it's never too late to pursue education. And Sister Madonna is known as the Iron Nun. She completed over 400 triathlons, including Ironman competitions well into her 90s. It took me a moment to grasp this. She must have been doing maybe 5 or 6 in some years in order to have achieved 400 triathlons into her 90s. And there's Lizelle. At 101, she was elected to the city council. I'm sorry, I don't even know how to pronounce this name, but to a city council in Germany, and continues her lifelong dedication to teaching and political activism. Now, let's think for a moment about the life expectancy in our country, which is under 70 years old. And even the best guesses that came on the chat box from all of you were only up to mid 70s. So, all of us as a population believe that that's the time we have on earth. But there are people, there are others out there who have proven not only can they live longer, because longer life doesn't mean anything if it is not a fulfilling, meaningful life. We have examples of people who live long and fulfilling lives, continuing to do achievements that we can't even dream of in our, peak of our youth. So, what is it that they're telling us? And I'd love to hear from you guys what your takeaway from these examples would be. I'll just take a pause to let some responses come in. Okay, let me ask you another question. What if I told you that there's a formula to making it so far, so active, so happily in life? It's not a fluke, it's not luck, it's not, a miracle of God, but there is an actual formula that has been studied by actual scientists and documented for all of us to see. And here I welcome you to the concept of blue zone living. Have you heard of this? Drop a quick yes or no in the chat so we have a sense of how new this is to the audience here. Yes, Vijayalakshmi, I see your comment. Passion has helped them keep going, and we will talk about that. I see a few no's. We haven't heard of Blue Zone Living. Honestly, I hadn't heard about it till a couple of years ago either. But once I heard about it, I was fascinated and I couldn't help delving deeper. So, taking you on this journey along with me. There's a place called Okinawa in Japan. It's not a small town, it has a population of 1.4 million. That's 14 lakh people, and their lifespan is 84 years. Let's compare this to what we see in India, which is a developing country after all. We see 67.5 years. That's a good 17 years more than us. It's a paradise where being in the 60s feels like having a second youth. There's good vibes, good food, and the population has a whole lot of good years ahead of them. Let's talk about not just lifespan. Like I said earlier, lifespan or age means nothing if your life isn't fulfilling, isn't full of joy. Over here in Okinawa, Japan, people are rocking it at 100 and are still dancing very much on their feet. Now, you might say Okinawa is a fluke. Well, it isn't. Okinawa isn't the only place in the world which has this amazing lifespan. There are a few others, and let me talk to you about them as well. Ikaria in Greece, a Greek island where age is just a number and life is simple with good company and we all know olive oil. The population here is 8,300 people, and the lifespan is 90 years. Residents here rock well past 100. They live slower, but they get stronger with every passing year. Costa Rica. Heard of this town, right? This is not as unknown as Okinawa or Ikaria. Here, the population is 3.5 lakh people, and the average lifespan is 81 years. Still a good 15 years more than India. We have Sardinia in Italy. I personally have been to this town, and it's common to see people well into their 70s and 80s walking around town, shopping, sipping coffee. It's a lifestyle that makes aging look like an art form. And this population is nothing to sneeze at. It's 1.6 million people living here, and their lifespan is 82 years. We still go on hikes regularly and enjoy the simple pleasures of life. And that brings us to the most popular destination that we all know, Switzerland. With its clean air, pristine nature, and a peaceful life, population of 8.5 million, the average lifespan here is 83 years. Swiss folks are climbing mountains when most of us are shopping for canes. They're skiing and they're enjoying life well into their 90s. So basically, there's millions of people across the world, not just in Costa Rica, not just in Italy, but also in Greece, in Switzerland, and in Japan. So all over the world, who found some unique formula that's helping them to live longer and be healthy, happy, and enjoy their, what we in India called old age, which obviously is just second youth to them. What is this formula? What are the tenets of Blue Zone living? The tenets of Blue Zone living are simple but so profound. The most important one is mobility. Keep moving. Age is just another hurdle. Food, nourish yourself to flourish. Community, stay connected because every chapter of life deserves great company. And finally, as someone said in the chat box, purpose or passion. Stay driven because there's always more to do. I would love to get into the detail of each of these tenets, but I am going to pause in case there are comments or questions that you would want to, keep adding to the chat box. So, to the first one, mobility. People who live in blue zones, we think of exercise as something that we have to do. And we, sometimes set aside 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day in order to get it done. We also really love all the people who are selling, all the influencers who are selling to us just 10-minute exercises, just 20-minute exercises. In our heads, it's a checklist, you have to tick the box and then you're done. But that's not how people in the blue zone live. They actually engage in movement throughout the day, whether it be through walking, going to shop for groceries, whether it be via a love for gardening, even their community activities are centered around mobility. They do hikes, they do nature walks, they do bird watching. This is not something that they check off a box every day. It's not something for which they have devoted a limited number, a limited amount of time in the week. This is just how they live. Movement is a part of their daily life. And because movement is part of their daily life, they avoid prolonged sitting. In fact, now it is found that sitting is the new smoking. Back in the 60s and 70s, people started becoming aware that smoking was, in fact, killing us. Today it's such a known fact. We can't imagine a time when people thought smoking was okay. Similarly, today we don't think about the amount of time we spend sitting, but it's starting to be found that sitting is the new smoking, and sitting for long periods of time is actually what is killing our generation. I'm sure 30 years later the kids will realize, or will sort of be very intuitive about the fact that sitting on our chairs all day long is not a healthy practice. So we must incorporate standing activities. Simple things like using stairs instead of elevators, not using blanket, walking to the nearby grocery shop, don't send your help, you yourselves go out in the morning and pick up fruit. These small changes can actually help incorporate movement into our daily lives. One of the things I know a lot of people around me enjoy is going for a walk as a group. Every evening, I see different groups of people, and that's a social activity centered around movement, which is what we need a lot more of in our lives. In addition to this, look for low impact exercises, whether it's yoga or something that's not very intuitive to us in India, something like Tai Chi, which can be new and also exploratory for us. The second tenet, and possibly the most important tenet of all, is food. And we Indians know this. If you look back at what our grandmas was eating, I'm sure their plates looked very similar to the one on your screen. Mostly a plant-based diet, which is very rich in vegetables and fruit. Obviously, they did not have access the way we do, and therefore their meat consumption was limited. The fruit and vegetables that found the way on the plate was the one that was locally available, easily accessible, usually found within a few kilometers of wherever they lived, which meant it was fresh and was not sort of medicated. Practicing portion control to avoid overeating, and of course, make sure that you're drinking a lot of fluids, a lot of water, and limiting consumption of other, uh, things like alcohol, obviously. The third, and I think the most understated tenet of Blue Zone living, is to maintain a strong social connection with family and friends. Over life, as our lives change, our circles obviously change. Our school friends may or may not always stay in touch with us. But the people who are able to step out of their comfort zone and foster relationships wherever they go, whether it's a new workplace, new city, new community, their lives are more their health spans are longer and their lives are more fulfilling. I'm not saying this. Scientists who have studied the blue zones are saying this. So participate in community activities, go down in the building when there's a function happening or a gathering happening, look for volunteering opportunities, belong to any sort of community, whether it's faith-based, area-based, city-based, language-based, it doesn't matter, or even passion-based, and prioritize spending time with loved ones. I think with all of us having multiple devices at our disposal at our homes, uh, spending time, actual physical time with people that we love, has become deprioritized, but it is a key to living long and healthy lives. And finally, like someone said on the chat box, purpose. Identify a reason to wake up in the morning. When we're young, the reason to wake up in the morning is, to get to school, and there's no choice. And in our youth or in our working years, office often serves the same purpose for some of us. Getting kids out of the door serves that purpose for some, for the rest of us. But as we get older, it is important to look and to find for that reason why. It can be that orphanage that you visit. It can be your friends who are waiting for you downstairs to discuss the news of the day. It could be a new club that you've joined or the new class to learn a language that you're going to. I actually have a 77-year-old neighbor who's now learning Kannada after having spent the last 5 years in Bangalore. And that's amazing because every morning, when I'm dropping my kids off to school, I see her going with her books to her Kannada tuition. And that gives her purpose. So find these meaningful activities and hobbies, set a goal, and pursue it with a single mind. Helping others, contributing to their well being and happiness is another thing that will give all of us a great sense of purpose. I'm going to take a minute and share with you something that we've created, and we are calling it the Basic Health Score. I believe the link is available in the chat box. It's absolutely free. It'll take you less than 10 minutes to quickly fill it out, and then you can expect us to give you a score, not just on your blood markers, which is what every other diagnostic chain is doing, but a more holistic look about your social, emotional, physical, and daily living health. You'll get a customized health report and a detailed breakdown with action plans. for your physical, social, and independence parameters. It's there in the chat box. Feel free to take it, fill it, share it with your friends. It's only for those above the age of 55. So now, over to the next big question. Is this something, the Blue Zone living, did it intrigue you? Is this something that you would like to experience? Love to see a quick yes or no on the chat box. I see we have a lot of guests joining. Oh, great. I'm seeing the first yes that's come up in the chat box. Thank you, Akuri. And I hope a lot more people are also keen to see how they can actually experience Blue Zone living. And why experience it? Experience it because once you know what a Blue Zone living experience looks like, you are able to take it back home and live every single day in that manner. So, for all the new guests who have joined, and for the rest of you, a quick look into what or how you can experience this.
Hi there, I'm Sonali. I'm Runam. I'm Sonal. I'm Akhil. From Marzi by Primes. For over a decade, we have worked with all the seasoned experts. And you know who that is? That's you. Because you're obviously a seasoned expert at life. And you believe in aging boldly. Just imagine you have been living for a century. Still doing everything you love. Doing exactly what you love every single day. That's not just a dream. Do you know there are people in blue zones across the world who thrive well into their 90s, who cross 100 thanks to strong communities, purpose, and joyful living? Imagine this, you want to be 100 and you still are able to do activities which you love, like dancing, like fitness, like pursuing some of your favorite hobbies. How does it sound? Doesn't it sound exciting? Explore new activities. Imagine waking up and deciding whether to do Tai Chi or what to make in your pottery class. Isn't it exciting to really able to feel that freedom that you can do whatever you want at whatever age you are? Live fully without worrying about the details. And imagine that every day after this workshop could look like this.
I look forward to welcoming you at our Art of Aging retreat. Choose active aging.
Great. So I think this gave you a snippet of how you can experience the blue zone living by choosing active aging. We have introduced for the first time ever in India, and our first retreat is actually in Bangalore. The Art of Aging retreat introduces you to the joyful side of your age. We are here to make aging fun, lively, and active. It's going to be a mix of fun as well as wellness. So what do I get to experience in this retreat? You can find your joyful dance with Bollywood dancing, your collaborative gardening, something that I'm sure you've never experienced before, and community games. Immerse and let go with sound therapy, yoga nidra, and fusion movements. Learn, unlearn, and rewind with sizzling hot debates that keep your mind active, making sense of age with our aging score. And yes, find out how old is the child in you. This is just the beginning, and this is not all. We have sessions with a chef to talk about how you can nourish yourself in order to flourish. We have fun with paper costumes. We have something called partner yoga and holistic nourishment in a quick 3-day experience of active aging. For the ones who fill this form, there's a registration form in the chat box. For anyone who fills it in the next 1 hour, there's an exclusive prize just for you. So say why not to joyfully reversing the art of aging. Quick moment to talk about our founder, Adarsh Narhari. Adarsh has been building in the senior living space for the last decade. He's won the Times 40 Under 40 award in 2021 and the ET Realty Young Achiever of the Year in 2024. His goal is to reduce the process of aging and improve the quality of life for all seniors. How? By increasing your health span. so that every single year you spend living is spent on your feet. We are backed by amazing, world renowned investors like General Catalyst and Nikhil Kamath. Who doesn't know Nikhil Kamath? And this is the team. You see me here on the screen, of course, but we have Narendra, head of projects, who has developed more than 3 million square feet of real estate for seniors. We have Girish, who's our chief operating officer with 25 years in hospitality and more than 5 years in senior living. Dr. Snehata, who has in fact designed the health score that you're about to take, she has almost 15 years in patient care, wellness, and healthcare management. And we have Dev, who's a marketing leader with us with more than 11 years of experience. He specializes in building and engaging communities. So, this is the team that's going to bring to you Mercy. Our mission is that HealthSpan is not about the years, but about adding the wow factor to your life. With exceptional services offered under Mercy, we help you to stretch your prime years into an epic adventure with health, happiness, and a lot of high fives along the way. Thank you. I
Um,
would love to take some questions now.
Ronam, quick thought, and since a lot of our guests have joined freshly and we are good on time, would you mind just skimming across the first 15-20 slides once again? Because a lot of us might have missed some of these inspirational stories which we wanted to so dearly share.
Absolutely, absolutely happy to do that. Just give me a second. I'm going to reshare my screen. Thank you, Dave. Is it up?
Yes, it
Yep,
is.
it is. We can see.
Awesome. So, for everyone who's just joined us, we spoke about Blue Zone living. We're here to understand what Blue Zones are, why they exist, and most importantly, how we can get a slice of it for ourselves. Before we start, I asked this
And
question at the
if you could
beginning.
go into presenter mode, please. So sorry for interrupting. Yeah.
No, no, I'm sorry. Is that up now?
Yeah, it's still loading. The screen hasn't come yet. I'll give you a heads up when the loading is done and we can view your screen. Somehow it's sharing the presenter mode itself. Maybe
Okay.
just reload once. Meanwhile, to the participants, thank you so much, guys, for joining. If you have any questions, please feel free to enter them in the chat box. We will reserve sufficient time in the end to go through each and every one of them. You can be rest assured about that. Yeah, the screen is up, Ronam. Over to you.
Awesome. So, like I was saying, we're here to talk about what blue zones are, why they exist, and most importantly, how we can take some of it back into our own lives. And before we start, I had this question for all of you. Let's reflect. What do you think is the average life expectancy in India? No Googling the answer. Please write whatever comes to your mind immediately. And I'd love to see some responses to understand how you view this. Saroj, I do see your question and I will respond to it as we progress in this conversation. Lovely. So I'm seeing someone say 70, someone said 80 plus. Earlier, we had people who thought our life expectancy is 78, 84, 85. Let me burst your bubble. The life expectancy in India, as per WHO, in just 2021 was only 67.3 years, which is well below 70. Of course, women do tend to live a little longer. I think women it's 69, men is more like 65 and a half, but it's much lower than what we think it is or it should be. And let me talk to you instead about a few outstanding achievers and see what makes them unique. Feel free to keep putting your questions, thoughts onto the chat box, and we will address them. Very quickly, I will talk to you not about one, but about five, six, seven different individuals who are breaking, busting stereotypes right, left, and center. Mr. Wong, at 80 years old, is called the hottest grandpa for his impressive physique and walks in high profile fashion shows. Harriet Thompson is the oldest woman to compete in the Suja Rock and Roll San Diego Marathon, and she finished in about 7 hours. Look at the youth on her face. Miss Joanna, at 98, is the world's oldest active gymnast. Margaret Ford, at 94, became Britain's oldest debut novelist, and her book was based on 630 letters that she had exchanged with her late husband. This gentleman, Mr. Paterno, at 97, graduated from the top of his class. I mean, look at this man at 97. He's taking a university class and graduating at the top of his class. It just shows us that it's never too late to pursue education. Sister Madonna is known as Iron Nun, and she has completed 400 triathlons, including Ironman competitions, into her 90s. I actually had to stop and do a little math to realize that she would have been doing anywhere between 5 or 6 triathlons per year in order to achieve this feat. It sounds amazing. Lizelle, at 101, was elected to a city council in Germany and continues her lifelong dedication to teaching and political activism. What are these guys telling us? What are these folks telling us? Is 70 or 80 uh, the timeline that we should look at for us to fade away? Someone asked on the chat box, with cancer, with illness, with loneliness, is it worth it to live long? And I think that's a great question you've asked because lifespan matters nothing if health span is poor. What is health span? Health span is the number of years you spend on your feet doing the things that you love. And that's what these people have done. They've lived long lives, but they're not bedridden. They're not battling loneliness. They're not dealing with disease. They're living life on their own terms. Apni marzi se. And what if I told you that there's an actual formula to it? And don't take my word for it. There's a formula that has been studied by scientists and that has been documented. A formula that encapsulates lakhs of lives, similar lives as the examples that I just gave you. Welcome to the concept of blue zone living. Have you heard of this? Let's drop a quick yes or no in the chat box to give me a sense of how many people are already familiar with this concept. Obviously, don't include having heard this here from us. Do tell us if you've heard about this earlier. And I hear people saying no. Earlier, also, we had a lot of no's that had come in the chat box. So I'll go ahead and introduce this concept. Okinawa in Japan. It's a country, it's a town with a population of 1.4 million. That's 14 lakh people. Their average lifespan is 84 years, 17 years more than an average Indian can expect to live. It's a paradise where being 60 feels like a second youth. There's good vibes, good food, and a lot of good years ahead. And health span? People are rocking it at 100. They're still going out to dance parties. And Okinawa is not a fluke. It's not just these 14 lakh people who have it good. There are other cities across the world in different continents, different countries that seem to be having this amazing life well into their 80s and 90s. Ikaria, Greece, Costa Rica, something we're all familiar with, population of 3.5 lakh people, average lifespan 81 years. Sardinia in Italy. It's a town that I have personally been to. Lifespan is 82 years, 1.6 million, that's 16 lakh people living here and thriving well into their hundreds. Still going out. I mean, it's common to see a bunch of folks with all of their hair gray or white, much whiter than mine, and they're still going out on hikes early in the morning. And Switzerland is something obviously we all know this location. 8.5 million population, average lifespan of 83 years. Swiss folks are climbing mountains, skiing, and enjoying life well into their 90s, living proof that life gets better with age. But how are they doing this? And why are they able to do it and we aren't? What's the difference? introducing you to the tenets of blue zone living. Very simple four tenets with massively profound impacts on life. First one being mobility. Keep moving because age is just a hurdle. Food, nourish yourself in order to flourish. Community, stay connected because every chapter deserves good company. And finally, purpose, or as someone said in the chat box, passion. Stay driven because there's always more to do. What is mobility? It is not something that you check off on your task list every day. It is not finding the maximum benefit in just 10 minutes of exercise or 20 minutes of exercise. No. For people living in blue zones, mobility is just part of life. Going for a walk, going for a hike, going to do small chores or errands like pick up the milk, pick up the fruit every morning, gardening. These are just part of their life, and therefore they naturally keep moving mobile throughout their days. They avoid prolonged sitting. Do you know that sitting is now called the new smoking? Back in the 60s and 70s, people started discovering that smoking kills. Believe it or not, people didn't know it before that. And today we all sit for 8, 9, 10, 12 hours a day on a chair. And I'm sure 2 decades later, people are going to wonder about us, wonder how we stayed seated all these hours. Of course, it's going to kill us. Using stairs instead of elevators, and finding low impact exercises that you enjoy, whether it's yoga, whether it's a walk, whether it's Tai Chi, something new and exploratory. Join a class and find these low impact exercises to do every single day. Food. This is something we know. We Indians have a very rich cultural heritage when it comes to food. And our grandparents' plates probably looked very similar to the one on your screen. A plant based diet rich in vegetables and fruits. Vegetables and fruits that are found within a short radius of where you live, that are fresh, that are seasonal. Limiting meat consumption, obviously due to reduced access. Practicing portion control and drinking lots of fluids, water, chas, juice. You know the drill. Community, a very understated aspect of life that contributes to the fulfillment that you feel as you age. Maintaining a strong social connection with family, friends, the ability to get out of your comfort zone and build a community, regardless of whether you're in school, you're in a new house, in a new community, or in a new job. Finding belonging in either a faith based, language based, even location based community, and prioritizing spending time with loved ones. I think we've all become so connected to our devices that it's disconnected us from actual physical time spent with people. That's not how you guys grew up. That's not how I grew up. And I think we had something right when we were younger. And finally, I think one of the most important tenets would be purpose or passion. Identifying the why, the what wakes you up every morning, whether it was school when you were 10 or work and kids when you were 30, at 60, at 50, at 70, at 80, and well into your 90s. If you have something meaningful that gets you out of bed, uh, whether it's an activity, a hobby, a class, learning a new language, learn to sing if you didn't get a chance to do that when you were younger, practice Bharatnatyam if that is something you were exposed to in school, contribute, volunteer, contribute to other people's well being and happiness. If you bring these four aspects to everyday life, there's no reason why your health span can't be equal to your lifespan. Taking a little minute while you digest a lot of information about the blue zones to talk to you about our health score. The health score we have created is not about your cholesterol or your sugar levels alone. It's a holistic health score that looks at your social, emotional, of course, your illnesses, your independence levels. A very holistic score, which will take you only 10 minutes to fill. There's a link for it in the chat box. It's absolutely free, and we will send you customized, detailed breakdown of the modifiable parameters, how you can improve your own health score over time. And this is something that Marzi brings to you just for being here with us on this call this afternoon. So I do hope a lot of you will click on that link and take advantage of this. I'm going a little faster than I did the first time around because I'm conscientious of the time. But do let me ask you this question. Is this something you want to experience? Do you want to experience blue zone living? Let's see quick yes and no's on the chat box to give me a sense of how you're feeling. Thank you, PK Panigrahi, for agreeing to follow the health plan. And I do hope you live up to 90 years with a great lifespan. Yes, they do walk a lot. Why not? Definitely. Great. I'm seeing a lot of why nots on the chat box. Very encouraging for us. But before I talk to you anymore, I'd like to show you a quick video that my team has
Hi
put
there, I'm
together.
Sonali. I'm Runam. I'm Sonal. I'm Akhil. From Marzi by Primes. For over a decade, we have worked with all the seasoned experts. And you know who that is? That's you. Because you're obviously a seasoned expert at life. And we believe in aging boldly. Just imagine you have been living for a century. Still doing everything you love. Doing exactly what you love every single day. That's not just a dream. Do you know there are people in blue zones across the world who thrive well into their 90s, who cross 100? Thanks to strong communities, purpose, and joyful living. Imagine this, you want to be 100 and you still are able to do activities which you love, like dancing, like fitness, like pursuing some of your favorite hobbies. How does it sound? Doesn't it sound exciting? Explore new activities. Imagine waking up and deciding whether to do Tai Chi or what to make in your pottery class. Isn't it exciting to really able to feel that freedom that you can do whatever you want at whatever age you are? Live fully without worrying about the details. And imagine that every day after this workshop would look like this.
I look forward to welcoming you at our Art of Aging retreat. Choose active aging.
I love this video because it brings out all the passion of this team about this Art of Aging retreat, which we have brought for the first time ever to India and in India to Bangalore. It is curated along the lines of Blue Zone Living. We intend to introduce you and have you experience all the four tenets of Blue Zone Living that we just spoke about. What will you do here? You will find your joyful side with Bollywood dancing, collaborative gardening, and amazing community games. You can immerse and let go with sound therapy, yoga nidra, and fusion movements, which is something I'm personally really looking forward to. Learn, unlearn, and rewind with sizzling hot debates that keep your mind active. Make sense of age along with us and get your free aging score while you're at the retreat. And that's just the beginning of you choosing active aging. Every day, ye dil mange more? Well, we also have a session with a chef because you're, like I said, nourish yourself in order to flourish. We have paper costumes, partner yoga, and holistic nourishment for all. So say why not to joyfully reverse aging. In your chat box, there's a registration form which you can quickly fill, and we will get back in touch with you one on one in order to answer any questions that you may have. For the people on this call or who are watching on YouTube, if we get your registration in the next 1 hour, that's before 2 p.m., you will avail a very special prize that's only for you guys. Very quickly, Adarsh Narhari, who's the founder of Mercy and Primus Senior Living, he has been in this field for the last decade. And his goal is to reduce the process of aging, improve the quality of life with seniors. We hope to see all our seniors on their feet till the very last day. We are backed by global investors like General Catalyst and Nikhil Kamath, who's obviously a household name in India. The team over here brings to you engineering expertise in hospitality and operations with Girish, who's our COO. With Dr. Snehata, we bring clinical services of the best kind with 14 plus years of experience in patient care, wellness, and healthcare. And Dev, Dev Gupta, a marketing leader with more than 11 years of experience. He specializes in building engagement and communities, so you never have to be lonely again. I myself am on the screen in front of you, and I have more than 15 years of experience in healthcare as well as in senior care. Our mission, like I said, is to bring health span to every elder. Health span is not about years, but about adding the wow factor to your life. With exceptional services offered under Marzi, we help you to stretch your prime years into an epic adventure with health, happiness, and a lot of high fives along the way. And on that note, I am happy to address your questions.
So
That
Ronam,
was an amazing presentation, actually. I loved it. And I think so in my 40s only, I'm thinking of coming over.
Thank you.
So I think so we should have a visit because we are into tours also with all our seniors. So we'll have a discussion, we'll have a tour at your place to get a taste of it. So we can just discuss over it. So we have got some questions. So I'll just like to put it in front of you. So first is from Vinny Gulati ji. She's asking, should we take supplements regularly in the age of 55 or above?
I think supplements is a very good question to ask. There are supplements that do add value, but it depends on your age, your health score, and what is it that your diet is lacking. So, supplements can be used to add and aid our diet, but it does need, you shouldn't take supplements off the rack. You should consult with a doctor and only take supplements that are relevant to you. Do not fall for fads.
Okay, that is lovely. You answered this, but we need an elaborated on this. Like longevity has some baggages attached, like cancers and disabilities. Living a lonely life, would you still recommend that? That's actually a good question.
It's a
By
great
Sarul.
question. See, I'm Indian, right? And we believe a lot of our culture, Indian culture, believes that lifespan is something that we come with. Uh, but health span, I believe, is completely in our hands. And that's why we're not here to talk only about longevity. We're talking about how people live long and healthy lives on their feet. And these are the four ways. It's never too late. If you follow these four tenets to the T, which is healthful living, lot of mobility, sorry, healthful food, mobility, community, which solves for loneliness and purpose, then yes, I do believe personally that I'd love to have a long, meaningful life.
Thank you. Next is Shobha Goyalji is asking, like many of the families, they are actually not leaving them because of the food and everything, because of the diet plans and everything. So how do we take care of that?
Sorry, I didn't really understand the question. Are you asking about how we should follow diet plans?
Like many, like I'll not send my mom because
Hmm.
I'm worried about her diet plans and everything because of her body and everything. So how do we take care about it?
Right. So, our belief, and someone else has also asked why Mercy. We actually, as a company, believe that elders are full of wisdom, and age is not, it's actually contrary to what the society believes. Society believes that after a certain age, you should quiet down, you should slow down, you need to be taken care of because you're frail. We don't believe that. We believe that after the age of 60, you've done your responsibilities and now is your time. It is your marzi. It is your forum to enjoy life, to have experiences that you probably weren't able to have earlier, or to continue doing things that you love, find new things that ignite passion in you. Uh, and therefore, we have called ourselves Marzi, right? To answer this question, the advantage of doing, whether it's a retreat, whether it's travel, whether it's nutrition, the advantage of doing all of these things for elders with a platform like Marzi is that we cater only to elders. So if you come to our retreat, the level of activity, the kind of trainers, the pace, the food, everything has been planned with this demographic in mind. And I'll give you an example. When you go to a child's birthday party, I can't eat there because all they have is burgers, pizza, and french fries. And they think they're catering to kids, right? And we are doing exactly the opposite. We're saying we want to center, at the center of our core is the elder, and everything we do is around them. So your family actually need not be worried. We take better care of you than they can.
That's amazing. And I was actually curious, and Vijay Lakshmi ma'am also asked the same question. Why the name Marzi? So you gave the answer for that. Why the name Marzi? So yes, it's Meri Marzi. So
It's
that
your
was
mercy.
amazing.
Exactly. You know, I'll talk a little bit more about this. We spoke to 150 people when we were naming ourselves Marzi. We went into, the market, and we spoke to 150 elders, and we showed them our name and we showed them our logo. And all of the elders we showed this to had a huge smile on their face, and they said, finally, there's someone who appreciates our independence, appreciates our thoughts, who wants to acknowledge that the power is with us and not tell us what to do, which is what everyone else in the world seems to be doing.
Amazing. So we all would like to actually know, Vijay Lakshmi also asked the same thing. So do we have a package of like 2 night, 3 days, or 1 month, or 6 month, or 3 month? What packages do we have?
Lovely. So currently we have multiple things for you. Right now, what we are offering is a 3 day retreat. It's a 3 day, meaning 3 night retreat, where the whole day has been planned with snippets of different activities, plant based, holistic food, the sessions that I just spoke to you about. So we have Tai Chi, we have fusion yoga, we actually have a choreographer coming who's going to do an amazing Bollywood dance for the 3 days, and we're going to make a video, and you're going to take it home and show your kids that whether you're 60, 70, or 80, you can still rock on. So that's a 3 day retreat that we're starting with. It's for the first time ever in India, but we do intend to create 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, and 8 day events out of this over, watch the space. Maybe Dave, you can add our website link here later and watch the space because there will be a lot more on offer later.
Amazing. But if I'll come with my people, then I'll be choreographing them because I'm a choreographer.
Oh, please. Awesome. That's great.
So I'll teach them dance. Okay, Veena ma'am is asking, can we add multivitamins tablet in our routine diet?
I will give the same answer again, ma'am, that it's not that you can or you cannot. It's just that it has to be judicious. If you need the multivitamins, then you must add them. But you have to first determine with the help of a doctor, and we are happy to offer this service to you if you'd like. You need to determine what it is that you're lacking and only add those supplements because some supplements, if you take too much of, can also cause toxicity. So do not fall for fads. Do not buy things simply because somebody's selling them. Understand what you need and then whether you can't get it from a diet before you take a supplement.
The next question is, I am also curious because I'll also not leave my mom like this. So the next question is, most of the seniors don't have the liberty. They're actually dependent on family members. In that case, how to deal with our health, or how to take a package of yours, and how usually should we visit your place?
Okay, so we actually don't have a center at the moment, but we do have a flourishing community. It's called Primus Reflection. It's a senior living community where 200 seniors have purchased flats and they all live in the same place. They eat with us. So our organization cooks for them, plans events and community activities for them, offers them volunteering opportunities, and they thrive as a community. At a later date, we'd love to share some podcasts with you of the residents talking about it. So, if there's anyone in this country who is well equipped to uh, help seniors take care of themselves. I don't want to say take care of seniors because I don't believe that's what you need, but to help you to live your best life, it's us. And that's because we've spent the last 10 years. I showed you a little snippet of the team that we've assembled. Each of us have spent, I think, between the 5 or 6 of us, we have close to 100 years of experience working with seniors for seniors. And that's what tells us that we are equipped to do what it takes.
So before I go to the next question, everyone, there's a link in the chat box. Please do click on that link and fill up the form and get your health score. That is absolutely free by Primus Marzi. So please do fill up the form. We will be sharing in all our groups after the session is getting over, and hopefully they will be filling up. So, do you have branches in other cities also apart from Bangalore, or any plan to start up in other places?
We do actually. We have communities coming up very soon in Calcutta, Chennai, Mumbai. I mean, these are the ones that are planned, Hyderabad as well. As for Mercy services, they're open to seniors everywhere in the country. Anyone from anywhere in the country can come to our retreats, can choose to travel with us. We have a group of seniors going to Japan just in March. So other services, our services, health scores, health plans are available to all seniors across the country.
Amazing. So there's the last question till now. I have only sitting problem. I do exercise 1 2 hours and walk 2 kilometers daily. I'm 74. What can we do more to add on this?
I think as a starting point, you should take the health score. You should get on a call with our doctor to understand what else you can do in order to incorporate more activity in your life. There, depending on where you stay and the infrastructure available to you, I would highly recommend, in addition to walking, which is great, discovering either a yoga class or a Tai Chi class, something, and ideally a group class because it keeps you engaged with the community, but also adds movement to your life.
Amazing. So I would like if Dave can just put up the number which where they can just call you up directly, and they if they have any queries they can actually ask your team. So that would be great if you
Lovely
can.
to do that in a minute.
So Dave, you'll be getting a lot of calls then if you put up your number.
We look forward to that.
Absolutely looking forward to that.
So that's it. We had an amazing session. We have an amazing presentation. We'll be sharing this in all our groups now as soon as this is done. So any queries, anyone, you can just put it in the chat box, or else you can just message us, and we will actually we would like to share their number directly, where you can call them up and take the full advantage. And I'll personally talk to my bosses, and I'll take a permission, like if we can do a tour to your place. So
Awesome.
that would be amazing, actually. Thank you, Runam. That was amazing. Thank you, Dave, and thanks to all the Primus and Mercy. So Veena ma'am actually wrote, "मैं चाहे ये करूँ, मैं चाहे वो करूँ, मेरी मर्जी."
Exactly.
But yes, with all your guidance, we can actually do it. So Veena ma'am is saying we are ready to go, Firoz. So yes, we all are ready to go actually. So we would actually plan that, and we'll see. Thank you, Runam. Thank you, Dave, and